He's being recorded. Got it. Yeah. Okay, got it.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name's Andrew Yenner, Director of Lang & Simmons Blacktown. Here joined with me is Con Kufos, a chartered accountant. Thank you for coming on board, Con.
Thank you, Andrew, for having me.
Okay, so basically, guys, the hot topic of today is capital gains tax. So we're looking to Con for a bit of wisdom and knowledge of how this works. So, Con, how is capital gains tax calculated on the sale of an investment property?
The capital gains is calculated when you do the difference between the purchase price plus all associated costs like stamp duty, legal costs on the purchase, and from that is subtracted from the sales price less associated costs on the sale like agent's commission, marketing costs, solicitors costs, and then any renovation costs which were not tax deducted during the term.
All right. And are there any exemptions or concessions available?
There are certain exemptions. One of them is the main residence. If you have been living in that house the full term of the ownership, then that property is exempt from capital gains. If you had a period where you owned it as an investment and you owned it as principal place of residence, then the water becomes a little bit murky, because then you have to apportion between the dates of ownership and the dates of renting.
Okay, date of primary residence to renting. Okay, so there are some ways. So can I reduce capital gains tax through deductions?
Yeah, well, yes, it goes back to the way that you do reduce it is by claiming the associated costs. The associated cost is purchase, or is your stamp duty when you buy it. It's a liable deduction.
Yeah.
The solicitor's cost buying and selling, and then again, the cost of if you had to tidy it up because you were selling it, if you had to paint a fresh coat of paint because you were selling it, agent's commission, marketing and staging costs, all those will be associated cost of selling, so you'll be able to reduce your capital gains with those expenses.
Yeah, and I know firsthand you've really helped some of my investors with that, so thank you. And that's obviously what's instigated this video, because I always do get questions. I'm always ringing you. So, you know, what we'll do at the end of the video, guys, we'll give you Con's contact details. That way you can go direct and, talk to him and get his wisdom. Okay, what happens if I sell my property within a short period?
Okay. If the capital gains concessions of 50% is only applicable when you own the property for more than 12 months. If you own it less than 12 months, then it becomes a question of why you sold it. If there was a need because you were moving overseas, then you may have a case. But the majority of cases is if it's under 12 months, it's classified as ordinary course of income, which means you do not get the 50% exemption. It'll be the full amount will be taxable.
All right. And of course, everyone's circumstances will be different, and that's why it's good to talk to you. Will renting out my property affect capital gains tax?
Okay. If the property was originally purchased for the purposes of renting, then and you've owned it for more than 12 months, then when you do sell it, you will get the exemption, and any gains will be subject to capital gains tax. If you have a situation where you were renting it, then you moved in, or or it was your principal place of residence, and then after a few years you moved out, there will be a period of time that you have to apportion the capital gains, whether it's your principal place of residence and the time you owned it as investment purposes. There is certain criteria in the Tax Act that if you owned it, if you lived in it first, then you've rented it. There's a thing called the 6-year rule, which is if during the time that you moved out of your principal place of residence and you've rented it, and while you were renting, you had no other principal place of residence, you can move back into it within the 6 years, and it'll still be classified as your principal place of residence for that. In the example, a person has lived in it, purchased it, used it as a principal place of residence for 2 years. They've moved out for 4 years. They were renting because they moved in for some situation. When they move back on the 5th year of that, all the 4 years that they were using as an investment, that's still classified as a principal place of residence. So any growth in that is not classified as a capital gains.
Okay.
But this is just a very basic, I'm talking about.
Yeah, overview.
This is why you need to talk to an accountant.
Yeah.
In everybody's situation, because
Everyone's different.
the Tax Act is so many pages, and there is so many criteria that needs to be met to be able to give a satisfactory answer. It's not a 5-minute.
No, it's just an overview today. Can I offset capital losses against capital gains?
Yes. If you have a capital loss prior year and you had no capital gains, you can carry that forward. So let's say you had an investment property, you sold it, you made a loss. Now you can't claim a capital loss against your wages or other income. So that carries forward. Next year you sell it, you sell another property, you make a capital profit. You can offset the capital loss against the capital profit, but you can't go backwards. You can't say, well, next year I'm going to make a capital loss. I want to offset it against this year's. No.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Con, you've obviously guided a number of my clients through this process and helped them out and given them tailored advice to their circumstances. What if anyone watching this video would like to talk to you a little bit more? What's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
They can get in contact with us. They can get in via email.
Yeah. Could you just give us your email details, please?
Yeah, it's Con.
Con. Yeah.
KOUFOS.
Yeah.
At KOUFOS.com, or they can ring me on my mobile.
Yep.
I'll give them my mobile 0420 876 911, or the office 9569 6352.
Excellent. Awesome. All right, guys, if anyone has any further questions and want to ask me, please get a hold of me. It's 0414 707 011. But if you want the specific advice, just get a hold of Con. Thanks for your time today, Con, and I'm sure you'll have some people asking, because I know there are some people that this would benefit. So thank you for your time, Con.
All right, mate. Take care.
All the best.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.